Here we go. Ready?
All right, I'm ready now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, no, hold on. Ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know, it's funny because this is the first time, really, like in my life, the last 14 years, mostly the last like 4 years, where I've been able to take in a close range, arguably very attractive woman across from me almost on a daily basis with consent.
Wow.
It's great because I like pretty women, and that's great. Oh, speaking of liking pretty women, who were we talking about? Somebody in the news.
I don't know.
I can't remember. Anyway, today's been a peculiar day.
Mm-hmm.
First day I was in the Packy getting your seltzers,
Yeah.
and this guy was in there also buying seltzers, and another guy spotted him and said, "Hey, Chuck, hey, how's it going?" And I could tell Chuck did not want this encounter to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh, what are you doing? You guys going to that gathering, whatever?" And over at Steve's house, he's like, "Oh yeah, Steve's just having people over for the game. We're all gonna kind of stand around, just shoot the breeze, watch the game." I thought, like, things have advanced so much now. Like, is that like what game? Now I know like that it's the Pats, obviously, but
Right.
like we're out of good teams now.
It is Sunday. It's a football day. The Pats are, I assume, playing.
Yeah. So but it was like it used to be that you would know what that meant. Certainly 10 years
We
ago.
did watch the Chiefs game.
Yeah, but it's just as a Boston sports guy.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, of course, the Celtics just won a championship, but I'm not into that, so I don't. But anyway, that's the first thing. Second
Okay.
thing is, then I jumped in the car and I was watching This Week. Was it this
Mhm.
week? Or Meet the Press. I was watching Meet the Press
It was this week, I thought. The one that you just showed me. Yes.
this week, and they go to commercial. Oh wait, first of all, if I'm going to mention Tom Brady, I have to play you the most significant moment in the Tom Brady's career, as a matter of fact.
Tom, former President George H.W. Bush just got released from a Houston hospital today. Do you have a message for him?
Well, I'm glad he's out of the hospital, certainly, and I've been, had a chance to be around him on a few occasions, and always enjoyed it. So,
Do you have a message for the current president? A positive one?
I just wish everybody the best.
And there you go. In the background is Steve Buckley writing down the answer. Ha ha, who works for who now, Buck? So that enterprising reporter was who, Alice?
That was when Tom Shattuck, formerly of
Exactly.
the Boston Herald.
I cleaned it up that day, and they kind of missed a
you were
lot of what I
great.
did. Okay.
Remember when you asked everybody about the snow in Boston?
Yeah, that was before, but it didn't
That
get
was
Brady.
the previous year. That was 2015, yeah.
And I remember actually the desk saying, "Can you get Brady? You gotta get Brady." But they ushered him away, and I'm like, "Do you understand how hard it is to get anybody? You have to bully away other reporters. These people are to get Wilfork and Gronk and Belichick. It is not easy. It's something though that for some reason I'm sometimes very good at, and I don't know why, because I'm not an alpha. I would never confront somebody.
You're very assertive, though, when you need to be.
When I need to be. When I was not assertive enough with who was the girl I stalked? Katy Perry, who I followed for like a quarter of a mile, and they had to like
It's probably
security.
why the left shark was like messed up, because
Yeah.
they were thrown off their game by the weird stalker
I was
following
going to ask her
them.
about Taylor Swift, beef that she had back then,
Mm-hmm.
but I never got the question off. I just should have recorded her and asked her, but I don't have paparazzi experience. I'm not good. I don't know quite how to do that. The phalanx around her is weird. I choked that one. She literally hid in a bathroom while her crew tried to convince me to just go away. Talk about stalker-ific. Oh my goodness. That was an interesting time. That's because they got lost in the middle of this convention center in Phoenix. So she was lost, and I honed in. So by the way, Brady is in the news because he's doing his debut today, announcing.
Oh, okay.
And so here's a little bit of like that.
Excited as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. We should start with quarterbacks. That seems to make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Cowboys making news. They come to an agreement with Dak Prescott on a big new contract, right? But with that comes pressure, not only long term, but what kind of
In the history of the NFL, now he's got to go out there and earn it. And 2023 was his best season. He's coming off of that, but going forward, it's going to.
He's obviously nervous. His voice is high, etc. Here's a little play-by-play.
There's Parsons again. Might get a chip here.
He likes that side today. Pressure again. Watson steps up. Here comes Parsons, and he gets home. He didn't get a chip.
Wow. Got a chip and beat it. This guy deals with more double teams than anyone. Gets the chip. Jones got him, but he's just too athletic to get underneath Teller.
Now, Brady's getting killed. People are saying that he's the worst to ever do the job tonight. And I haven't been watching. I just had these two cuts. But let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, he's a friend of mine. You heard my interaction with him.
Yeah, you're big buddies.
Second of all, I'm on Team Brady. This guy's not going to suck at this. He's going to keep trying. He'll get better and better and better.
He was awkward when he joined the Patriots at first, too.
He's always awkward. But he'll get better and better. He's not like, his awesome thing is that he's a great QB. This is not one of his talents. But like Tony Romo was not a great QB, but he's like great at announcing. He's going to get better. I'm on Team Brady. He'll be fine.
Everybody I think he'll get better, but I also think I don't really have strong opinions on how good people are at sports announcing, but I also feel there's probably just some Brady hate at work here.
Well, yeah.
That people just want him to be bad because they just hate him personally.
Essentially, any state with a football team, with the exception of Florida, or in the 6 New England states, freaking hate this guy. Because he has destroyed franchises. Things could have been different if it wasn't for him, and really Vinatieri too, but and Belichick. But
yeah, people just despise him. And I think Taylor Swift gets the same type of like weirdly irrational hate from people. Like he just inspires that in people. They freaking hate him. So and he's and part of it is that he's like a goofball and he's not cool and he like wore silly outfits when he was with Giselle and he's sort of an odd dude.
Okay.
Like Gronk is not an odd dude. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean a Gronk. He's a
guy that you would hang out with.
You call him Tank.
Right.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. He was shotgun, and actually, Gronk is literally that guy. Yeah. He will do a keg stand. If you have a keg and a pickup truck and he's going by, he will stop.
Yeah, Brady's weird, but so that also makes people hate him. I feel.
Oh, totally. I mean, because he was kind of like an effeminate supermodel in a way.
He's a California guy.
Yes, and Giselle really like.
Yeah.
So then I go out from the packing and go into the car, and I'm listening to the This Week podcast. Jonathan Carl's in, and it goes into commercial. It goes into a BetterHelp spot. This is the end of the segment going into the spot.
Are getting ready for the debate. We'll be back in a moment.
This is an ad for BetterHelp Online Therapy. What's something you've always wanted to learn? An instrument? A new language? How to not burn pasta?
One of these three.
Yeah, and you missed this. I just played this for you. It was like, who's burning pasta? How does that possibly happen? It's the hardest thing to burn. It's smothered in fire retardant. It is submerged in water. How is this burning?
You have to boil off all the water. You have to like leave it on the stove and forget about it.
Which I have done. Obliterated in the 90s one time, and that was it. And that was
so maybe that's why maybe BetterHelp would help with that then. In that case.
Wouldn't it like maybe
if they
would be the thing? Are you sick of burning pasta?
Whatever the mechanism. Clearly, it's a person with some type of mental problem or addiction who would burn pasta. So that's why they're.
Well, yeah, but it's not happening anywhere. Which tells me that people are clueless. People are forgetting how to be people. I don't know if this is AI or whatever it is, but if you're doing the workshopping in the creative meeting, when you say, what are some of the things you'd finally learn how to do?
This is an ad for BetterHelp Online Therapy. Thing you've always wanted to learn. An instrument.
Yeah, you'd say instrument, right?
Some people want to learn that.
A new language is perfect. That's a perfect one. You know, maybe you want to learn to crochet. Maybe a lot of people get into scrapbooking.
Right.
A lot of people also want to learn to cook really well.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody who wants to learn.
Maybe you want to learn how to use Excel or like learn something. I don't know. There's lots of things you could want to learn.
I learned how to put particle board up on ceilings to improve stuff. I learned how to fix roofs. You know,
Yep.
Who wants to learn how to not burn pasta?
People who burn pasta.
I need help on this because
Deranged
it's not.
people.
Why would that be the third thing? I wouldn't like mountain climbing, ride a horse,
Gardening.
yeah, or like
Puzzles. Like
Yeah.
almost anything would be before burning pasta.
it's freaking bizarre. The world, something tore somewhere else in the world.
In the space-time
Yes,
continuum.
something is torn. Burning pasta. Just there, I did it again. I left it in for an hour and 60 minutes, longer than I was supposed to. Again. Can't manage not to.
Well, I'd say then you probably need better help.
You would.
I mean,
You
like-
need to be escorted by orderlies if that's what you're doing.
Well, if you can't afford that, then maybe BetterHelp is a good alternative.
Did we do BetterHelp?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay. You know what? And you noticed my pasta since, right?
It's never been burnt.
Nope. Okay. So where do we want to start? Do we want to start? Okay. I think. Do you want to start with the hard news from the Sunday or with our blockbuster event?
Well, let's hear from the Builders Trades Union.
Okay.
Building Trade Union.
You remember, guys, and that the Alice found this a few years ago, and then we revived it a couple of weeks ago. The Union Thug spot
for
that
Labor Day.
For Labor Day, that unbelievably they put out there and meant to put out there, and it was just it's an amazing picture that they've drawn of union membership, and he sounds like this.
Right.
So, what the hell's been going on in Washington since this new guy took over? We know President Biden's been busy putting Rona on her ropes.
Yeah.
You think he had time for other things? And ain't right, he did. Out the gate, Joey B rounded up all the anti-union, anti-worker assets and told them to pound sand. Then he filled his cabinet with people who actually give a damn about your job. He even made one of our own union brothers, a bad labor named Marty, his Secretary of Labor.
Nobody's tougher than the American worker.
Biden gives a shit about your wages and making sure workers got the skills to win. He's pushing the PRO Act, so you get a say in how much you're worth. Biden saved pensions, so you don't have to work to the day you die. He's saying buy American for sake, so my tax dollars aren't paying for more factories in China. Biden took a train to work every day, so yeah, he gives a about trains. What,
right?
You don't like trains? Guess who delivered the American Rescue
You don't
Plan?
like trains?
Joe ain't right. President Joe Biden getting us up off our ass and working again. What's up next for the scrappy Irish?
You rarely hear commercials where the presenter wants to fight you. This guy is openly trying.
That's what union people like. That's why they put this out here. They want scrappy Irishmen.
It's like
they were like telling the actor for this commercial, like,
Yeah.
give us your best scrappy Irishman.
Yeah. Threaten them about trains. You don't like fucking trains? Oh yeah?
It's like
You're gonna like trains.
It's like encountering a drunk person at the bar who's like inexplicably angry about something. Oh yeah?
Not just another bullshit infrastructure week. He's about to drop the American Jobs Plan, guaranteeing food on the table of millions of union families.
America is on the move again.
So let's go, Joe. Build back better, baby.
So, the breaking news around this, Alice.
Uh-huh.
I'm just tweeting right now. I can't believe I'm remiss.
Oh, you didn't tweet out that tweet?
Now I've reposted it.
Do you wanna?
You will. Of course, the building trades people have now lost Joe.
Yeah, there's no more Joe.
As their guy.
Joey B is out of the race.
So all this
skills to win. He's pushing the pro act, so you get a say in how much you're worth.
The scrappy Irishman.
he's gone.
Yeah.
Like this guy.
Marty's gone. The scrappy Irishman.
This guy
is
grabbed
gone.
me by the back of the shirt and slammed my head into a locomotive repeatedly. You don't like trains, mother? As he bashed my head into the locomotive. Now the trains are gone. Like everything is
done.
It's over.
Right.
Now they have Kamala.
Mm-hmm.
And just like that, a new spot has dropped.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we would call in the field groundbreaking.
So what's the deal with this fucking election now this new chick took over? We all know Kamala's a badass motherfucking union cop who's been cleaning up the streets down in Washington. Think she's had time for other things? Fucking A right she did. Think she's another one of these fancy pants politics fuckfaces?
Wow.
Are you off your coconut? She even worked at Mickey D's. What? You think you're too good for Mickey D's? She's out there letting the American people know that you owe me and my union brothers and sisters a big fat thank you for that weekend you just enjoyed. She's telling those grocery store asshats they better lower their fucking prices or she'll smash their stupid fucking windows in. And when we put this chick in the White House, she's gonna pass the PRO Act to put Uber and Lyft and DoorDash out of business. She'll make sure you join the union or I'm gonna break your fucking face. And I'm still waiting on that thank you.
Holy hell. Holy hell. Now, I've looked for information about this lady. Apparently, we have her name.
Yeah, so supposedly that's Donna from the union.
That's Donna.
Mm-hmm.
She's more violent than the other guy was.
Yeah, but they really want you to vote for Kamala, I guess, the unions. So,
I mean, there's got to be the use of expletives.
Business. She'll make sure you join the union or I'm going to break your fucking face.
I'm going to break your face?
That's violent.
That is very violent. And let me tell you something. If I knew a woman who was at all remotely attractive and who spoke like that, I would be very pleased. Which is why, Alice, it's a small ask. It's a small ask.
You want me to talk like that?
All the time.
All the time.
Yes. And I even want you to be threatening. So what if you want me to get the mail? What would you say?
I can't talk like that.
What would Donna say?
I don't know. I don't talk that way, so I couldn't.
Oh, I see. Huh. Maybe we'll get a few Mick Ultras into you. See what happens. Organic seltzers, Kat. I love Donna. I'm sorry, I do.
What about? I mean, our marriage vows, everything.
Ooh, Donna.
No. Took over. We all know Kamala's a badass motherfucking union cop who's been cleaning up the streets down in Washington. Think she's had time for other things?
Ooh. I think we need to make a soundboard of this. What? Okay. Well, I am thrilled with Donna the union thug. I hope they put out more spots.
I hope so, too.
This is the beginning of an ad campaign because this is effective. This has what we call impact.
Yeah, that's how union people talk. So, like, they can run their slick ad campaigns to, like, the elites on the coast. But to reach those, like, white working class, blue-collar types out in rural America, like, this is going to really reach them. Just like the camo hat. That's why the camo hat was such a brilliant ad campaign. This type of ad campaign is really going to, I think, probably push her over the top. She's not going to be tied in the polls anymore like she is now.
No,
for sure.
Those days are over. So I think that we should probably talk about on some of the Sunday shows. Where do we start here? I'll start at...
well, since we just mentioned polling, like, you and I had kind of different takes on Steve Kornacki on Meet the Press.
Now, let the record show, I didn't get quite through it. So he was just starting, but he said that they were all the battleground states were neck and neck, is what I heard him say.
Yeah, but she was winning them.
Oh,
like
I see.
A few weeks ago. They don't want her to be neck and neck in Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin and all these places.
I see.
And they're all, like, within a point. And she was, winning them a little while ago. So she is like up by 2 nationally probably, which is like right where you want to be if you want to be exactly tied in all the battleground states.
Right.
So basically my big takeaways from Steve Kornacki talking about this, because they did a big battleground state poll, is basically she's obviously way improved on Biden, who was going to lose everything, which is why they brought her in. But the initial bump is fading. She's down to a tie.
Right.
She's within a point in every battleground state. And they're worried the states that she's up in, like Wisconsin and Michigan, have some of the highest white working class non-college voters.
The other Tings voters.
Yeah, that they're trying to reach with ads like Donna, who they have these big percents. And this is the ones that always get undercounted in the polls. The ones that have come out for Trump in big numbers, that they're always wrong about how much they're going to turn out. So they're worried that even though she's up in these states, they could potentially be undercounting those voters once again, as they did in 2016, as they did in 2020, because they were off in the polls in those states. So that's the big takeaway. She's also doing way better than Biden was doing with minority voters in the Sunbelt states.
Mm-hmm.
They're calling North Carolina a Sunbelt state, but they call it what they're calling Sunbelt states in this clip. And I know we heard them debating this on commentary as well, but they were calling it. They just mostly mean southern swing states, as far as I can tell: Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, and she's doing way better than Biden was in those states, which have a higher percent of non-white voters than most of the country, but. She's still not doing as well as Democrats have in the past with those voters. So this is not she's doing better than Biden, but this is not the result they were hoping for when they had Kamala swing in on the coconut tree and declare everything brat. And this was supposed to be taking the country by storm. Fresh face, she's a shoo-in. I mean, Nate Silver has Trump up to 62% chance of winning right now, which is not really where you want to be if you're Kamala Harris. So,
well, but also here's I think that you have going, among other things. First of all, you have, and remember, with the voters you have, this doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. With the voters you need, when you hear priorities, when we'll say South Carolina.
But I want to make sure that we recognize this too. We've had thousands of brave transgender troops, decorated warriors who serve this country in uniform. When Donald Trump was commander-in-chief, he belittled them and he banned them from service.
Nobody wants to hear working people. The biggest issue facing our country.
Other things, voters. Mm-hmm. Working people don't want to hear a gay guy talk about trans troops in the military. They're tired. They're not affording stuff anymore. They won't get a house. The groceries are expensive, all the things. Then you have the AP, who thinks they're doing Harris a favor, who looks at those voters and say, "Oh, I know." And they have a piece here said, Harris turns to her favorite foods in an effort to show a more private side and connect with voters. She's holding Doritos. You see, coal miners, look, I eat this too. Me and Doug, who's extremely straight as well, eats this too. Mm-hmm. You see?
Well, and they sent her out. They did this thing this weekend, too, where they sent her to Penzeys Spices.
Yes.
Which is, people are acting like this is some, big conspiracy, thing. But this has actually been known for quite a while, that Penzeys Spices is, a big liberal company, right? It's been commented on before because they, a few years ago, put out this statement. Where's their stupid statement? They had a whole thing where they said that they didn't want Republicans to come to their stores or whatever. So, I mean, Penzeys Spices, this is what they tweeted. They said, "Wow, please watch this video." This is Harry Sisson of Kamala Harris greeting locals at a store in Pittsburgh. This is such a heartwarming clip. VP Harris is an amazing person. Share everywhere so Americans see that. And there's this person crying to meet Kamala Harris, which should immediately who cries in the spice store to meet Kamala Harris? Is there any politician that if you met them, you would tear up?
Yeah, no.
I mean, like, that's ridiculous. So whatever. And the
no,
Chiron,
maybe one of the cute ones.
The Chiron on MSNBC reads, "Now Harris visits small business in Pittsburgh."
Stan, I'm pretty sure you know. Oh, it's gonna be good. We're gonna be good. We're gonna be fine.
Not only is this lady crying, but some younger chick in a college, Georgetown, which tells you where this chick is from.
Yeah.
A campaign staffer. To the right is also crying. So people are just crying. She's got this messianic power.
Yeah,
Alice.
it's amazing.
We'll be fine. We are all in this together. Yes, we are. We're going to be fine. We are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
And even this, by the way, Kamala's bad at.
Yeah.
Like, there are politicians who could work with this, but you have an over-the-top campaign staffer with another one behind her just falling to pieces, and Kamala's,
yeah, and people have gone through these people's resumes, and they've all worked for Democratic campaigns. Like, you're not kidding when you say Democratic campaign staffer.
Right.
These are not regular people just out shopping at Penzeys Spices in Pittsburgh. These are, like, people that they put there. So it's all...
I'm going to keep playing this for a second.
Okay.
Huh? Did you get some spices?
Oh. Did you get some spices today is not really a powerful question. She's in the spice store. I mean, Kamala, come on, you can do better than this.
It's all good. It's all good. We're standing strong, right? We love our country. Absolutely. Right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Who's this? This is a relative of yours or just a new friend? It's a new friend.
There's another staffer. You know, I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the press filming this?
Yeah.
Why are they filming this improv production? Like, if you're there and this is happening, why aren't you asking her questions?
Right. I mean, you could ask her about policies or, like...
Right. I'm talking about the crews, the camera crews, or the reporters. If there's a camera in there, if they're just simply using MSNBC's camera to film an organic infomercial,
yeah,
it's amazing. MSNBC should have a reporter standing right there and saying, "Mrs. Vice President, where exactly do you stand on fracking?" Etc.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing. And if not, the understanding would be that J.D. Vance is going to talk spices with a person, or is going to the Gino's sub place in Philly or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The expectation is then he's going to walk over to the press pool.
Right.
And
Trump does these things and answers questions, and J.D. Vance does these things and answers questions when he goes and talks to the press on the tarmac and here and there as he's coming and going from stuff. But yeah, just some more on Penzeys Spices. In 2022, they did 10 free Black Lives Matter stickers with any purchase.
Ooh.
They've earned our respect, they said. CEO Bill Penzy sent out an email newsletter announcing he would be renaming his extended MLK Jr. Day sale weekend to the Republicans Are Racist Weekend. We're uniting the country, right? He has spent $700,000 on Facebook ads to impeach Trump. He's donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to the
so we get it.
Super PACs.
He's a big anti-Trumper.
And he put out on the website of Penzeys Spices this statement a couple years ago as well, watching the slow decline of the Republican Party over the last half century and the steep decline over the last decade. The Republican departure from conservative values, all this, blah, blah, blah.
It seems to me then, Alice, okay, he's an asshat, as you like to say.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that this appearance in production is an in-kind contribution.
Yeah.
I mean, this is obviously...
You would think so. This is them promoting her and the press going along with it. As a matter of fact, with him donating to super PACs, I think there's issues with her working directly with the corporation because corporations aren't allowed to donate directly to campaigns. They can only work through PACs, right? So, like, if you're a candidate for something, you can't accept in-kind gifts from corporations.
Right.
Here's what he says on his statement. Going forward, we would still be glad to have you as customers, but we're done pretending the Republican Party's embrace of cruelty, racism, COVID lies, climate change denial, and threats to democracy are anything other than the risks they legitimately are. If you need us to pretend you're not creating the hurt you are creating in order to continue to be our customer, I'm sad to say you might be happier elsewhere. If, on the other hand, you still want the best spices and don't need us to respect what you now vote for to be our customer, we're happy to have you here, but know that we will, on a regular basis, try to wake you up from this dream that has you believing there is anything conservative left to all of what the Republican Party has become. We can and will work without Republicans to solve the problems we face, but it sure would be nice to get back to a time where Republicans were equal defenders of the equality, the environment, and democracy. We look forward to that day.
What a bunch of a-holes.
Yeah, so this is not organically Kamala Harris at a small Pittsburgh business. And once again, this is not a secret. It's not like, I mean, you know, Laura Loomer's tweeting it like she discovered something that Penzeys Spices is a liberal business. But, like, they've been out there saying this stuff out there for years. But they're, you know, tweeting this stuff. Kamala Harris just went to Penzeys Spices and brought creamy peppercorn dressing base, Fox Point seasoning, Trinidad lemon garlic marinade, Turkish seasoning, and Tuscan Sunset salt-free Italian seasoning. Says editorial writer and columnist from the Washington Post, James Homan. That's what he had to say after following her there. He has a list of what she bought.
Okay, we don't care, right? Or do we?
Well, I was just saying that, like, that's
of course.
Like media malpractice.
No, right.
That this is what they're doing.
But what I was saying is earlier is that none of this is helping. Soft media now is not helping anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It is, all she is a coffee clutch now.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing. Is that what I see from voters, and what I see, and it makes more sense now that you explained the Kornacki thing to me, is that two things don't work.
Mm-hmm.
Hidden Kamala or out in plain sight Kamala.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of those work. So
they only need extremely managed, extremely softball Oprah appearance Kamala.
Right. And the last gasp they have, of course, is this debate.
Mm-hmm.
And if she does anything but throw up on the podium, then they're going to say that's the greatest thing in the world. But they've got a real problem here. Because Trump is 48%. There he is.
Yeah.
That's it. Photo ops in cemeteries or whatever else they want to throw at him, whatever. That's where he is. And he's not really going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But she can deflate.
Yeah. She peaked, and she's back down to its high.
And now you're starting to hear vocalized regrets of having Tim Walz. Of course, what there should be.
Yeah, because it was an absolute unforced error for them not to pick Shapiro, because Pennsylvania is must win for them. Like the paths to 270, as people like to say on the cable shows, close up very rapidly for her without Pennsylvania.
Right.
You know, she has to go win a bunch of other things that it doesn't look like she's probably going to win. If she's losing Pennsylvania, she's definitely like losing Nevada and Arizona and all those other places.
Oh, right. And I wanted to play something. And at the same time, you've got the Trump campaign putting together spots like this, which is really all you need to know. All you need to know.
We should be doing everything we can to make it more affordable to buy a home.
A just-released housing index reveals just how rough the market is, especially for first-time home buyers. It showed home prices for the nation's top 20 metro areas rose 5.4% from June of last year to June of this year, a record jump for that month.
The average home buyer needs to make over $110,000 to afford the average home. Home buyers only needed to make $76,000 back in 2020.
Mortgage rates are now at their highest level in 21 years.
86% of U.S. renters would like to buy, but they can't. That really speaks to a lot of pessimism here about the American dream, how it feels like it's out of reach. Home ownership remains the ticket to wealth generation. So this is just widening the gap between the haves and the have-nots.
She stands there and says on day one, she's going to tackle the housing affordability crisis in our country.
But day one for Kamala was 3.5 years ago.
What the hell have you been doing for all that time?
Says Kamala Harris this week. Kamala Harris has failed. Kamala Harris is a dangerous liberal.
Well, and obviously, like, her suggestions to tackle the housing affordability crisis, like, give out $25,000 in down payment assistance to people, that's going to make housing prices go up more. Like, do people not understand that? If you hand people $25,000 to buy a house, the price of houses will then go up.
Right, and you know that they saw.
Do they not know that?
They saw their polling, and they said, "We need to remake her. We need to remake her." And so they've carefully had campaign people on backgrounds, say, by the way, she now believes in this, now believes in that. Some people in the press, like Jonathan Karl, are running with it, like he did today with Liz Cheney. He's like, now that she has moderated all of her views, like, no, she has not done anything.
Right.
She has not done anything. He actually also said, no, Liz Cheney said, I hope people look at her policy positions. It's like they're not written anywhere.
Yeah, nobody can look at her policy positions because they're just random things she spouts off sometimes, or that staffers leak to the press randomly.
Right.
So, and I want to talk about Liz and Dick Cheney too, because this is like the most bizarro world thing to wake up to this weekend. I mean, I came of age I was in high school when we started the Iraq War, and like Dick Cheney was the ultimate evil. When he was reelected, him and George W. Bush, this was like the worst thing ever. Everybody in my school was like skipping class to go to anti-war protests. They wouldn't allow like military recruiters on our campus. Like, it was crazy. And the idea that Dick Cheney, so first of all, everybody thought George W. Bush was a friggin' idiot and dumb, and he was secretly being controlled by evil Halliburton Dick Cheney.
I remember.
He shot people during hunting. He was evil, terrible, all this stuff. They thought he was like going to hold on to power. Literally, the stuff that they say about Trump, like he was going to try and hold on to power and like January 6th and all that stuff. They also thought that about Dick Cheney.
Oh, yes.
Like one of my best high school friends said that she wasn't going to believe that Bush and Cheney were going to leave the White House until officially Obama was sworn in. She wasn't going to breathe easy because she thought they were going to like hold on to power and like declare an emergency. And
yeah, a lot of people thought
like,
that.
I mean, so to then wake up this weekend to like Dick Cheney is going to save our democracy like from evil dictator Trump was like the most cognitive dissonance thing that's ever happened to me, because it's so like to watch people just change what they think completely in real time like that about a person, because Trump has just made them crazy.
I know, it's amazing.
Like, all these people who, like, they hate it. You would think they would now not vote for Kamala Harris because they hate Dick Cheney so much.
Yeah, there's a place in Vermont near where we have a place that had a chain. The road was called Cheney Lane.
Right.
And they changed it during the Bush administration to be Cheney. Stay out and officially changing the name of the road.
Right.
Because they were so scared of him.
Mm-hmm. He was like the big bad, because you couldn't be really scared of George W. Bush. He was just an idiot puppet that was being controlled by all these evil forces. But, I mean, so the idea that there are now these like heroes of democracy and these like brave patriots stepping forward to warn us about the dire threat of Trump, and that the liberals are all like eating this up. Who is this for? This performance art of like, is it just, are the people who send out like whatever message all our liberal friends are supposed to download to talk about, are they just like having fun with this at this point? This week you're all going to love Dick Cheney.
You're right. And who is it for? And like, who is it for having Liz Cheney out there talking? You know, when she did the January 6th thing, I was out on her. I was until 2 days ago a Dick Cheney guy. I always loved him.
Yeah.
Now I'm out on him officially. I'm a George W. Bush guy still. I'm out on Dick Cheney because he's using the same angles of attack on Trump that the left is, and that's unforgivable to do that. You throw in with them with that BS, it's unforgivable. And come on, Dick. God, disappointing. You know, me, proud. I got yelled at Friday by a caller, Alice.
Why?
Because he made me.
Because you like foreign wars?
Yes, I do like foreign wars, and I was a proud neocon
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you called yourself one. And then he said, you like your buddy Dick Cheney? You still want to be your buddy Dick Cheney? And I said, yes. And then he said goodbye. And what language do Jewish people speak?
Yiddish?
Hebrew? Hebrew. No, whatever. He said, Mazel Tov, he said. What's that?
I think that one's Hebrew, but I'm nervous now to say it for sure.
Anyway, so
Mazel Tov might be. There's two. There's Yiddish and there's
the point
Hebrew,
was that me and the neocons,
Yiddish
wink,
is more
wink.
like
In other
German.
words, the conniving Jewish, people, Irving Kristol and I guess.
Oh, okay.
I guess that is. But now I'm out on Cheney. I'm out.
It's just embarrassing. I assume he's just old and his daughter told him to do it, so he did it. Right?
I hope so. By the way, who's ABC News producer booking somebody for Liz Cheney? Why are you booking her? It was stupid. The show started with Liz Cheney for like 20 minutes, and then what's her name? Sarah Huckabee Sanders for 10 minutes. Why? They're just both flacking. It makes no sense.
I think all the real people are doing debate prep stuff right now. I think that's what's happening.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe that's what it is. But it was just a poor selection. All right, we should get to the chat, bro.
Yep, chat. And then are we doing an extra show today?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. All right, Ellis. Here we go. Hope you're ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Not sure if you guys watch
Hey,
Jesse
Steve.
Waters, but he's on something like day 8 or 9 trying to confirm with McDonald's that Kamala Harris actually worked for them when she said she did. He's called the McDonald's corporate.
Yeah.
He has tried to follow up with McDonald's in that area where Kamala lived, and nobody has responded confirming that she worked for them. And you would think that by now a coworker would have followed up with a picture or a comment confirming that she worked there, or McDonald's corporate would have been proud to say that Kamala worked for them. But as of right now, they've gone radio silent. So I'm wondering, did Kamala actually work for McDonald's? Seems to me like this is a bold-faced lie.
Didn't she say I did fries or something?
I did fries and I did the cashier.
Oh.
I mean, does the cashier come forward to confirm? But so I mean, I think this is relevant because Tom Shattuck was actually accused of making up working at a pizza place in Tennessee before, delivering pizzas.
I was accused of making that up.
Some people thought maybe it was all in your imagination.
It's not like a. I have the hat.
But then that's what I'm saying. Then you found the hat in storage, and there's proof. So, you would think.
I'm on Team Kamala on this. I think she worked there. But the
I
pizza
think
place,
she maybe worked there, but she probably worked there a very short time.
You don't have to be a person of privilege to get to work at a pizza place in Tennessee. You don't. They were looking for people, and.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think she probably did work there, but I think it was probably pretty brief because, I think less than a summer job. I think she maybe worked there and got fired, or worked there and then got a better job right away, just did the training and then went to do something else. Because otherwise, you would be able to. I'm trying to think of any job I've worked. I'm still friends with enough of someone who would say that that's true, that I did that.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Can you have you worked any job that, I mean, maybe when you couldn't hack it at the Ritz? Do you remember when you couldn't hack it at the Ritz?
Yeah.
It might be hard to confirm that you actually worked at the Ritz.
Could be.
Because you worked there for a day and then you no-showed or something.
And they've been 3 different companies since.
Right.
Right.
So, and McDonald's is similar because it's franchises. The main corporate office doesn't keep a record of the people, and maybe the small business doesn't keep the records for, how old is she? 60? So that would have been 30,
I think it's probably
30
the
years
franchise problem.
or 40 years ago. Do you think a franchise keeps employment records of everyone they employed 40 years ago?
No, especially not one where you expect half the people.
It might
to
not
walk
even
off.
be owned by the same person, the same franchise owner. So it's hard to say, but if she worked there for any number of months, you would absolutely be able to confirm it because you would have had coworkers and stuff. I mean, I have coworkers from I know that for her it's a little more because she's older than me, right? So it's probably 40 years ago. But, I mean, like, I could still find somebody who could confirm my first job was a lifeguard. I have, pictures of it. I have probably somewhere might even have pay stubs from it or uniforms from it or something. Like, I have stuff from my job as a lifeguard, or people that I worked with at that time could confirm that I was a lifeguard at the Lexington Boston Sports Club in 2005, because that's a real thing that happened, and I was there for like a year. I did that for like a year or two.
Right.
So, people, but I can't think of a job where I wouldn't be able to confirm that I worked there.
Right, and that's also, you worked there at a time where there was automation. So Boston Sports Club, there were computers. Who knows in 1979 if anything?
Yeah, but Kamala's Gen X, like you. So I mean, like, you have the hat from your job.
Yeah.
If you worked at McDonald's, you would have uniforms or photos of you in the uniforms.
Yeah, you would
like,
think you'd have
it would
something.
be around.
You'd think you'd have something. I mean, she put it in her bio, her biography. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, Steve, I'm glad Joshua Waters is doing it. I like him on the 5. I don't really watch his show, but I check out his clips, etc., whatever's out there. Let's get it back here. Alice, the batting cage gate continues. You should check out the text threads. We'll bring this up tomorrow. We're selling a batting cage, and it has become controversial on Facebook Marketplace. It's just amazing.
Tom takes his role as Facebook Marketplace seller very seriously.
I'm mad at everybody. Now I'm going to mark up the price just to mark it down. Okay.
Oh, and another thing.
Oh, let me start with the first thing. Hold on.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
I thought it was Michael Graham who told you that that the buses for Kamala's event were actually rented from a Massachusetts business to get people from the parking lot.
Oh, yeah, I think Inside Sources did report that.
Yeah, wasn't it? Who did I say it was?
You said Steve debunked it.
Oh, no. Steve bunked it. Michael debunked it. Yeah, thanks for catching that, Dr. Cheswick. That's good. Thank you. I got that wrong.
Miles away from the actual event space. That's great planning for Kamala's speech. And I had only listened to your interview with him after I had left my message because I believed what I saw on Twitter. Which is a bad thing. You shouldn't do that.
Well, it's fun.
Also, Ed Markey was first elected to office in 1975, and I was 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how you got into his office because I'm older than you. And
so was he elected to Congress in 75?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. He's been my congressman since before I was born. But his district does go across Lexington and Medford.
Okay, 76. So if we served from 76 to 2013. No, we were in his office in the early 80s. So I guess it wasn't right away. But we were in his office. I've got pictures, actually. There are pictures of this with our feet on his desk. And we visited him a couple times. 2 separate visits, 2 separate years. He at that point, his congressional office was no great shakes. Alice,
you mean Jonna?
John, I would say.
Yeah. Hopefully, the next time he runs for Senate, they'll actually have a campaign because the last person who ran against him had to do some COVID-altered thing. He didn't even know if the guy was in the building because it was all done on camera. It was a total joke. And
the Republican
Elizabeth Warren and John Dean.
Yeah.
That's something Republicans do, Dr. Cheswick, because they send somebody down to Malden to look for him. Has Ed been around? Yeah, you're right about that. It was very, as Alice would say, Bitsville, yeah. Which I wasn't allowed to do this weekend. But
I know. I accused you. I went along with it for your pies.
Hi, Tom and Alice. This is John.
Hey, John.
Tom,
did I play Dr. Cheswick's second message? I'll get back to it.
A couple of episodes back, you mentioned a bar in the South End called the Eagle.
Yeah.
I believe you're right. Back 30 years ago or so, friends of mine and I were bar hopping and decided to go into the Eagle.
There we go.
When we were halfway in the door, we realized it was a men's gay bar.
Yeah.
But we went in anyway, and we're having a good time. When all of a sudden the music went off, and the television went on, and everybody watched The Golden Girls.
Oh.
We never went back, but I'll never forget that either. Thanks.
That's great. Yeah, that I think it might still be there, but I used to know a young guy, a concierge I worked with, a kid who loved going there because all the old guys, they would call them hens or something. I forgot what it was. If you're gay and you know all the terminology, call. Or Ryan, call if you're still with us. I don't know. He lived dangerously. This is a kid who used to go out clubbing all the time. And when I was a concierge, and he was a great kid, but he was young. He was spending all his time and money doing drugs and going to these gay bars. And I got into work one time, and Ryan, we had a small like bookshelf behind us, or I guess it would be like a credenza behind us in our booth with me and Ryan. And Ryan curled up and went to sleep there. And I said, Ryan, you need to wake up, like now, Ryan, you need to wake up now. And I was shaking him, like, Ryan, you need to wake up. There are guests. I'm selling trolley tickets, and this dude is behind me, unconscious, curled up in the fetal position, sleeping it off there. And guests are seeing, like, is he all right? Is he all right? And like, yeah, he's fine. And I was like, Ryan, you can either, and he's not saying anything. Eventually, manager came over, and Ryan, and this has happened more than once. Ryan, they like escorted him out, like took him out, or maybe even got. I don't know what was wrong. He needed help walking, so so somebody grabbed Ryan, took him out, and obviously, I think like on the spot, like Ryan was obviously terminated. And the next day, I go into work, in pops Ryan for his shift, and I'm like, Ryan,
you were laid off.
Yeah, no, you weren't laid off. You were terminated the F out of here. And he's like, what? No. And I was like, Ryan, yes. Like, you don't work here anymore, dude. This is they fired you yesterday. He's like, what? Why? And I was like, because you were sleeping back there, Ryan. He's like, what, really? Oh, they'll get over that. And I'm like, I don't think they're over it. You should talk to somebody, Ryan, before you go to all the
trouble.
Yeah, you probably noticed that none of your stuff works. You know, you should probably go see somebody. And then he did, and that was it for Ryan.
Oh, poor Ryan.
Yeah. Fun guy. But yeah, I had the same thing happen. We went into a bar on Appleton Street. I forgot what it's called, but it's a gay bar, part of a whole little hotel, and this is in the South End, but not as South End as the Eagle, which I think is that down in Tremont. It doesn't matter, but that was pretty hardcore. This place in Appleton Street, there was a dude who just pulled up with left his car running, went in, grabbed the dude. Opened the car door for him. The other dude got in, and the guy just off. And I thought, man, that is efficient. Okay, here's the other Dr. Cheswick. So I'm starting. Did I already do this one?
Oh, and another thing.
There we go.
You know, the Republicans in this state have had a rough go of it for the last 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The leadership has not been the best. And I could be more critical, but I won't. But, I mean, we don't have a Soros-like person to just shovel money into the mass GOP so that they can spend it on promoting candidates. And
we don't have a Soros person exactly. There are billionaires out there. We don't have one in Massachusetts who's making any difference. But like Elon seems to be.
Yeah, but the thing is, people, even billionaires who could throw away money, generally didn't get that way by throwing away money.
Right.
So nobody likes to donate to candidates that they don't think can win.
Right.
So there are a number of problems in Massachusetts with the Mass GOP. Some is the leadership, but there have been a variety of leaders from a variety of sides of the political spectrum, and really what it comes down to is that people in this state do not agree with a lot of the core principles of the Republican Party. So, you need to change hearts and minds. You need to change people's minds around you, and you need to start with winnable districts, of which there are not many. Right? But you need and it's a tension, because you want the candidates who can get elected are like Charlie Bakers, who are not exciting to the base of the party, and not great. And Charlie Baker essentially distanced himself from the entire Mass GOP and basically like took the money with him because he could win races and nobody else in this state can right now.
What do you think about the Michael Graham theory that Republicans should switch to Democrat and vote for the more moderate Democrat?
I don't think that that's like useful because politics is a team sport and they go along with their party at the end of the day. Like, who is the Democrat in this state who's not going to vote for boys in girls sports? What moderate Democrat?
There is not one.
Right. Who's the moderate Democrat who's not going to vote for, the millionaire's tax?
Right.
Who's the moderate Democrat who's not going to vote for any of their like crazy policy agenda items?
No.
It's like everything they want. Like they vote 100% in a block in this state, and sometimes the Republicans that are there vote with them. There's no moderate Democrats in this state. It's all or
getting
nothing.
People elected, instead of paying for parking and lunches and all this other BS that they like to do. I understand, if you're the head, you get to, spend whatever money doing whatever. But there needs to be a PAC that comes in and starts putting up billboards along 93 saying, stop voting Democrat. Look what they've done. You know what I mean? And that doesn't happen. If I had my way, there would be ads in every daily, monthly, and weekly newspaper right up until the election, even quarterlies, anything. I would just put ads in there and list, there would be statewide mailers. And that costs incredible amounts of money.
Language.
Mailers are super expensive. Ugh. Super expensive. Door knocking volunteers, nobody wants to volunteer because, like with money, people don't want to give time to something that they don't think is going to work out. People only want to do stuff when they think it's winnable.
It's how you spend your money, and you also need people to step up. So you can't give up on the state because a lot of people feel that way. They just need to be willing to step up.
Where did you record that, Dr. Cheswick? Steve from Gloucester was in a Market Basket in Danvers, I think. And that sounded like a really good Market Basket. And he says, he confirms that there was. Where are you, John, Dr. Cheswick, that you're hearing those cars are driving by? I'd like to know.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about this all day because I find it interesting, but I also think that it's a vicious cycle of because the party is weak, it attracts cranks and grifters because they can get in because there's no barrier to entry.
Right.
I don't know if you saw this, but Milo Yiannopoulos was on X, and he was challenging Nick Fuentes to a baby off, which is the first person to get a woman pregnant is the winner, and he had all these rules like courting and everything, and you couldn't buy a baby like Dave Rubin.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. This is wild stuff on X.
Yep.
I know you're probably not even reporting this. This is wild.
If you were given a choice between the two, Alice, which one are you going with for the baby off?
Milo.
That's the best choice. He's a handsome guy, among other things. And I don't know if he's a Nazi today. But I don't know.
Only when it's convenient.
I know, I've already left a couple of messages. But Tom,
do
you follow the Pasta Queen on Instagram?
Ooh, I don't know.
I think you would enjoy watching her.
She makes a lot of
pasta
problems.
recipes. She has a cookbook out, and she's probably in her early 40s, I would guess. It's _Pasta Queen.
Pasta Queen.
I think you would enjoy it.
I see her. Ooh, yeah. I got enough problems, man. Yeah, I'll follow her. Yeah. Just with on Instagram, I think about food and these pastas way too much, and it's going after me now. It's like I get more. I mean, creep follow good-looking women on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
but the pasta found me. Like, it knows.
They sensed that you were a pasta
Yeah,
guy.
they know they had a live one when they came to me. There's no doubt about that. But I follow her. I will check it out.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. If you want to join us in the live chat for Patreon, and if you are on Patreon right now, stay there because we're going to go over and do a Patreon show and talk a little more. And if you want to join that, that's patreon.com/burnbarrel. Otherwise, if you prefer listening to the show for free, it has ads, so you can do that at burnbarrelpodcast.com. There's links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the things like that.
C'est la vie.